Happy Monday. Although when I'm recording this, it's a Wednesday and I just dropped my kid to school and I'll head back home now. This week is all about planning for the next quarter two, and I already finished reviewing quarter one. Now I'm in the middle of planning for quarter two, and I'll show you step by step what I'm doing, what is my thought process, and how I actually do the planning. But first, I have to get home. My quarterly review page opened up here on my desk. How I go through my quarterly review is, first I finish the weekly review, then I go through my monthly review, and because I've done this every week, every month for the first quarter, my quarterly review page is already populated. And because I've been doing monthly reviews, I don't have to necessarily focus on the nitty-gritty of things in the quarterly view. What I do look at is the big achievements, and I have a space for disappointments also, but I don't pay too much attention on that. I don't want it to be negative. So what I look at, instead of looking at the disappointments, is I look at all the improvements that I have identified for myself daily and during weekly and monthly reviews. So I look at those things and I focus on these two while planning for my next quarter as well. So anything that I've identified as I need to improve on, I'll try to have some action items to reflect those improvements. So if I had a note for myself for improvement, I need to spend some time finding out why this particular thing I'm not able to write as well as I would want to. So what do I need to fix that? So the improvement would be reading some craft book or identifying a workshop that would help me hone in that writing skill. So while I'm planning for my next quarter, I would have some action items that would be like find out what writing course or writing workshop I need to take. And if I've already identified those, then I would look at my calendar and see when I can take them and block in time to actually make that happen. So just filling in improvements or just looking at accomplishments don't mean anything unless I incorporate those action items in my next quarter. That's the most important thing I look at when I'm doing my quarterly review, and I pull those while I'm planning for the next quarter. For me, it's also important to look at my achievements because it's very easy to forget the things that the small little things that you actually did and accomplished. We may remember big things, but it's not necessary that every month and every quarter you have some very big things happen. Sometimes these are small little things that happen throughout the quarter, and it's important to keep those things in the forefront for me so that I know that I'm making progress on my projects and my whatever else I'm planning to do. And also that's the way I motivate myself when I'm able to see those accomplishments. So it's important for me to have these two things really stand out to me while I'm doing my quarterly review. So now that I've finished my quarterly planning and I'm planning for the next quarter, I focus more on my goals and the goals that I've identified at the beginning of the year. The things that I look for is, do these goals still make sense for me? And because I'm looking at them more or less throughout the first quarter on a monthly basis, it does not take up a lot of time. But it's a good habit to just check on them, see if they're still making sense, see if I need to change things. And if I need to change things, I already start doing that during my monthly reviews, but it's a good check-in while I'm doing my quarterly review. And a lot of things that I do in my monthly review, say in the month of March, what I already did this task, so I don't have to spend time on it. It's just a checkbox. I need to check it off that I looked at my goals. I have a list of projects and I have grouped them under what I want to do in the next 3 months, what I want to do in the next 6 months, over a year. Some projects are longer than that, so I look at them, see what has changed. The first 3 months are over, so have I finished those projects that I had identified to finish over the first 3 months? And if I have, then I'll mark it as completed, or if I need to tweak things and change the dates. And also I like to identify all the projects that I have marked as someday and take a look at them, see if I need to pull something that I feel like working on right now. Something has probably opened up and I need to do those projects now because the time is right for them. So I look at all my projects like that. What I did this time was that I identified 3 projects out of all these n number of projects that I have. I have over 30 projects listed over there, some completed, some halfway, some are long-term projects, so they'll always be open. But I identified 3 projects that I need to work on in this quarter. Sorry, I got a call. Now I'm completely forgot what I was talking about. Alright, so I identified 3 projects, and the next thing that I did was looked at my calendar and blocked off all the days when I can't work or I don't want to work. So all the dates where my kid is going to be home and I won't be able to give time for work. So I crossed off those days. Next, I crossed off days that I don't want to work. So I've decided to start giving myself days off. Every month I have a few days that I want to take off and do nothing. So I cancelled out those dates. The next thing I did was cancelled out days that we are planning to go out or have some sort of an outing or planning to have friends over, something like that. I have cancelled out those dates. And this gives me a very realistic number of days that I can actually work on these projects. And then I looked at each project and did a brain dump kind of an activity where I just listed out all the things that I think I need to do for that project to happen, or small little things that needs to get done. Not necessarily that I have to sit and work on it, but it just needs to happen. So in the past, what I've done is, after I have this brain dump session done, then I would identify my tasks and basically plot them out and see when I'm going to do what. That is something that I'm not doing this time because I don't have any deliverables, as in I don't have to hand things over to anyone. And once I've done the brain dump, after that, whatever needs to happen, I'll do that in quarter 2. I don't want to take my time right now and do all these activities, and then when quarter 2 comes around, and then I have to redo them because things change. So I have my brain dump. I have a list of things that I absolutely want to finish by the end of quarter 2. And as I start working on them, I'm going to identify what needs to happen first, basically work on the project as well as in the project once quarter 2 starts. So I have accounted for that as well while planning for my project and the timeline and everything. That way I'm also trying to test if that will help me not overestimate myself and try and get a lot of things on my plate. And what happened last quarter was I got so overwhelmed by the end of the quarter that it didn't feel very good, and I don't want to repeat that. And that's why I have decided to have some days off during the week, even though there's no reason to have those days off. I just want to take a break and want to test out how this new plan works out for me. So the next thing that I want to share with you is how I go into my calendar and make space for working on each project. But I'll do that in a little bit. Right now I have to go and finish some house chores, go pick up my kid, and I'll be back in 3, 2, 1. And I'm back. So I'll show you my Google Calendar. I have decided to be more mindful about my theme days this time around. So on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'll be recording my YouTube videos. So I won't have a lot of time for any other project, but I've still made time for writing. So that's one thing that I'll be working on 5 days a week. The next thing that I have is on Mondays, I'll be working on my secret project. So I have a chunk of my time blocked out for that. And in the evenings, I have about hour and a half to work on, and that's when I'll be doing my workshop that I've identified that I want to do. So I've made time for that. And as my winding down routine, just to transition, I have decided to have my piano lessons happen at that time. So it'll be an easy transition. That's something I look forward to do every day. So having that as my cue for my brain to stop working on my projects and on my writing, and then ease into the rest of the evening. So that's something that I've identified, and I've put that as I've blocked time in my calendar for that. Then on Tuesdays, I'll be working, depending on whether I'm recording or not. I'll be working on either I'll be recording a video or I'll be working on my secret project again. Depending on which day I'm recording, I'll switch that. Then comes Thursdays and Fridays, and that's when I'll be working on my newsletters. Now, as the projects progress and things need to be changed around, I'll do that. Because I'll be doing my weekly and monthly reviews, it'll be easy for me to adjust with that. But doing that, I know that there will be projects that will spill over in Q3. And because I was able to look at my calendar, block out my holidays and non-work days, I'm able to see how realistically I can finish the projects without piling too much on my plate and feeling overwhelmed and not liking the process. I don't want to feel like that. It was very hard on me in Q1, and I don't want to repeat that in Q2. I know that my secret project is going to flow into end of the year because I want to take it slowly. It's not a priority. I want to work a little bit on it every time, every quarter I want to do something. And even my newsletters, I want to have it finished by end of the quarter, but I want to give myself one grace month, test things out so that if there is any issue, I can have them resolved before I do the entire transition and have people then come back to me and say this is not working or that is not working. So it'll flow into July, and June is going to be a very light working month because most of June I'm not going to be working. That makes it easy. I know that I don't need to stress over having all these things finished and then feel that I did not enjoy my summer. That's what I have planned for my projects. In my Notion template, when I'm planning my projects, that's the page where I do all the work as well. And so I also always have a little section for notes, and anything that pops up in my head, any improvements I want to make sure that I carry forward, or anything that needs to happen later in the year, or whatever it is, whatever notes I want to leave myself, I make sure I have a space for that. And that's very handy, especially while planning for other projects, or in the future if I want to repeat this project at some time. I have left myself little notes on what I need to do the next time around. So that's a very important thing, that have these notes and have easy access to them, because having notes and not remembering where you have them can just increase your work the next time around. The idea is to keep the learning going so that the next round of similar activities don't take so much time. And the next thing that I have is my social media, and that's not exactly a project. This whole thing lives in my content creation page on my Notion. So I have that. So I take my 90-day calendar, plot down the days when I like to publish my videos. That's every Monday. So I have those days. In the past, I have mapped out all the videos that I want to do throughout the quarter, but this time around, again, I've changed a little bit. I'm going to focus on 1 month at a time, and every third week of the month I'm going to plan for the next month. That will allow me to figure out what's happening with my channel and pivot if I need to pivot. So that's the different thing I'm trying this time around. For every video, I then have related posts on different social media. So I have my Instagram posts, my Facebook private group. There I have some posts going out, and in the newsletter as well as the YouTube community tab, I have some posts for that. So all these are connected to the main post that I have. That's the main video that I create. I have a process, so I know what needs to happen when, and all these are made into a template, so I don't have to recreate the wheel every time when I'm creating a video. I just duplicate the template, fill out everything, and have my points written like I have it right now over here, which I'm referring to. So I know what I want to talk about, the videos that are going, what needs to happen when, if a newsletter is going on a certain day, when do I need to work on it. So all those things. And because I have my theme days, so every Monday I'll work on my social media when I've created the main video. So I have those things again put in my calendar, so I know which day I'm working on what. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing this week. The rest of the week I'm just going to finish some brainstorming sessions, so I have all my tasks list ready, and then next week the work will start. So that's how I go about making time for everything. It's a constant prioritize. At the beginning of deciding on a project, I may think that things are important and need to happen, but when I start doing the work, sometimes a lot of those things feel like they are just fluff, and I need to focus on getting the main things done, and these other fluffs can happen in round 2 and round 3 of those projects. So that's another thing. You have to constantly prioritize and see what needs to happen on most days. I hope this was interesting to you, and I'll see you in the next one.